Hey everybody, John Huber here from the Maryland Education Network. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about school reopenings because they are coming and they're coming fast. What is all this going to look like? Well, I'd be happy to share a little bit of information with you. I'm going to do a series of three quick videos here. I don't want to do one big long one, sit here and listen to me for 20 minutes yapping. But I will talk to you about three specific things. One is kind of an overview of what's going on here. Some little bit of the political background of what's going on. And then the other two, I want to do one specifically on what the time of day or how the school systems are going to allocate their time of day may look like. And I'm also going to take a look in the next video of what the actual instruction might look like, so you can maybe help you prepare yourself for what's coming. Because let me tell you, it's coming, and it's coming fast. All right, let's talk briefly about the political aspects of what's going on. And I'm not trying to convince anybody one way or the other of where you fall in all this. That's for you to decide. I'll give you my opinion, and I'll give you some background. If you disagree with me, by all means, please, go into the comments and shoot me a little message. Tell me what you think, and I'd be happy to have an open conversation with you. I'm not here to convince everybody that I'm always right, and you might be able to change my mind. So that's what this is all about. But I do believe that the school system has essentially kind of backed itself into a real corner here. And I'll tell you why. Because government as a whole, I'm sure you will agree, government as a whole, once they get their claws into something, they can't get they can't get out of it. The classic example of this is you just look at every program that the government has ever created. It never goes away. It never ends, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Look at these meal sites. It started with the school system saying, hey, we're shutting down schools. These kids relied on these meals. We're going to provide a couple of places where the kids can come and get their meals. Okay, well, then they provided a couple of more places and a couple of more places, and then they went from lunch to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to now they're in the shopping centers, they're in the apartment complexes, and they're just, the school system has taken it upon himself to feed everybody. And again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying it just is that the government just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it would be my suspicion that these meal sites are not going to go away. At no point, I don't think, are they ever going to go back to, okay, school's back in session, we don't need these, let's shut them down. I don't think they're going to do that. And again, I could be wrong. But anyway, so my point is the government just keeps getting bigger and bigger. What that means as far as this whole shutdown goes is that this school system is so knee-deep into this COVID-19 thing that they just don't know what to do. Because anything short of 0 new cases with a vaccine where everyone has been vaccinated, anything short of that, there's going to be a problem. Because parents are going to kick and scream, and maybe rightfully so. I don't want to send my child to this school. I don't want to send my child to the schools because it's not safe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the school system is in a real quandary here. They just don't know what to do. So because of that, they did what most government people do, most government organizations do. They set up some commissions, did some studies, appointed some people, and they created a 73-page document from the Maryland State Department of Education that is directed from the state level to the local jurisdictions and explained to them what they want to see in a reopening plan. And they detailed all the different criteria, which I'll go through shortly, and explained what they expect to see when schools reopen. All right, so let me go through real quickly what the state is expecting from the local school districts. Okay, the first thing that they expect is that all these plans have to be posted. Here's the big date, August 14th, 2020. Mark it on your calendar, folks, because that's the day when their website, according to this directive from the state, must be updated saying, here's our plan for Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, whatnot. After that, they also have to have, and this plan that has to be posted on the 14th will include all of these components. One is it has to have equity, which is very good to hear. It has to equity throughout the entire plan. They have to establish a stakeholder group, and there has to be stakeholder input, which if you're, from Anne Arundel County or Baltimore County, you're getting these phone calls that, complete these surveys and if you got all that, that's because the state's requiring them to gather input of the constituency. Once schools reopen, however they reopen, they're going to have to do some assessments early on to find out where the gaps may have occurred in the learning and to create a plan to fill those gaps. They have to make sure that the college and career readiness standards, which have been in place for a little while now, that those are continuing to be addressed. They also have to make sure that they follow the IDEA and 504. If you don't know what that is, IDEA is special education, that special education needs have to be addressed, and 504, which is with students with disabilities, that their needs have to be addressed, and this all has to be incorporated into that plan. Now we get into some of the specifics about this. The local school system, they have to follow safety protocols for collecting materials, school supplies, other facilities, daily cleaning, nutrition, et cetera, et cetera. So they still have to follow the Department of Health guidelines regarding all this stuff. And they also have to follow the same guidelines they're as much as possible regarding social distancing. Boy, that's going to be a tough one, isn't it? Which that's a kind of that's one of my separate videos. Okay, so here's one. So then we get into two other things. These are the two separate videos that come up. One is the allocation of the school day. Is every kid going to go to school every day? I don't think so. Is every kid going to go to school every other day? Maybe. A couple days a week. Is it going to be online, offline? That's a whole separate video. Make sure you take a look at it. The other thing is, what will the actual instruction look like? What will it look like for someone to actually, are they going to be on class with their Google Meets like they were doing, a little bit before? Or are they going to do the Google Classrooms? Or are they going to have packets? So that all has remained to be seen. So that's another thing. They also have to follow the protocols for safe transportation of students. Transportation. Now, I read a little bit into that, and they're recommending, one student per aisle or one student per seat per aisle. Whew. You've seen some of those school buses like I have, folks. You see arms and legs sticking out of the window in some of them, and there's just I don't know. So they're just trying to figure this out. Okay, so anyway, that essentially is what all this is coming to. Some people have said, you know what, I've had enough of this for now. I'm going to homeschool my child. What's the deal? Because you figure, hey, it's online. I've done it before. I've gotten used to it. I'm working from home now. My child can do this. I don't need them. Let's wait till this is all well, good and behind us, and then we'll take a look at it. Especially the late elementary school to middle school age child, I think would probably be the best benefit for that. I will tell you that you are not alone. There is a growing sentiment about homeschooling. If you're interested in that, send me send me a message. I'll be happy to get back to you, and hopefully I can provide some service for you if that's what you want. And homeschooling is not as difficult as you might think, folks. Don't let them fool you into thinking it's not. But it's not for everybody either. So anyway, that wraps up the first one, the political thing. Government got their hands in it, can't get out. There's a 73-page document on there that talks about all the requirements. And then after that, I have two other videos coming up about the allocation of the school day and what the instruction will look like. So hope to see you in those videos. Thanks for tuning in. Please chime in. Please subscribe. Give me a couple likes. Shoot me a comment. If you disagree, you got anything to say, by all means, I want to hear it. I'll have you. I'm working on building a little studio. So I'd love to have you in my little studio as a guest, as a parent or a stakeholder of any sort, or just as a community member. I'd love to gather your input, and let's start the discussion. So thanks for tuning. Have a great day.